Thank you for that introduction. Renowned is not, I didn't write that, but thank you, Ryan, very much. I am a journalist. I'll talk to you a little bit about that, but good evening and welcome, and thank you so much for having me. It's so wonderful to be among such an elegant crowd on a special evening, an important evening that's also going to be a lot of fun. So we're really looking forward to this. This really feels like a homecoming in many ways. It's so nice to be back in person. How lucky are we that we're sitting here with each other face to face. If we've learned anything over the last 2 years, it's to appreciate these moments and to really be able to visit and share a meal and share a story and have a really good evening. It's a homecoming for me as well. I emceed the first Travis Manion Foundation gala back in 2012, and it's so nice to be back and be able to contribute in a very small way to what truly is a unique organization. I've had the opportunity, the great opportunity, to be around a lot of really amazing veterans and military organizations. And there's a lot of really great work being done around the country. But there's only one Travis Manion Foundation. And I say that, yes, please. I say that having done quite a bit of research. I'm a wife of a decorated combat veteran. I'm also a journalist that spent a lot of time reporting on this topic. In fact, the last time I joined you, I was a national news anchor at the Fox News Channel in what I thought was a dream job. And in many ways it was, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. But a few years ago, I had to make a very difficult choice, and I suddenly felt like I wasn't living the story that I really was supposed to. And that's a very difficult revelation for anyone that's worked really hard at anything, but especially a journalist who wants to report authentic stories. So I decided to leave, not knowing exactly what lay ahead, but I really believe in a disciplined, healthy, service-oriented, nonpartisan, free press. And I think it's critical for us and for the nation. And I have spent the last several years developing a digital nonpartisan news platform called Smarter News. And it's growing and thriving. Even though it's smarter, don't worry guys, you're welcome to. It's not only for women. So I'm honored to be back. I'm honored to be back in this new role that really allows me to prioritize the story over everything else. And I was thinking of the story that brought us all here tonight. Those that inspired this evening to take place. Travis Manion and his mother, Janet. You know, thank you. You know, I never had the opportunity, obviously, to meet Travis or Janet, but I find myself often thinking about them and missing them without ever really knowing them. And you may feel this way too every once in a while when you learn of a loss. A service member, for example, killed in action. You can feel both inspired by them, but also sad. You know, we can appreciate the catalyst while also wishing we could erase the loss. And I want to acknowledge that at the beginning of the evening. We wouldn't be here tonight without them, but we'd love for them to be here. We'd love for them to be here. One of the lessons I learned over the last several years in my own life and in my work is to get really comfortable leaving room for conflicting feelings and information. Because for the most part, stories are always developing. And I find real freedom in thinking more on the stories we share as ongoing conversations. Even if someone isn't here physically, their story continues. It has impact, it evolves. And it's a very powerful concept in journalism and in life because it alleviates the pressure of wanting to know everything immediately. And it gives you permission to stay more present, to pay attention to what really matters. And the Travis Manion Foundation understands that concept better than any group I've ever known, because a key part of the foundation is prioritizing, preserving great American stories. So we never forget the sacrifices made and the real heroes that are among us. I felt that importance very much today, walking the historic streets of Philadelphia around Independence Hall and the Liberty Bell. I did that with my 3 children, 7, 5, and 2, so this is the most relaxed I've been all day. Thanks for having me. Yeah, thank you. You know, when you walk the streets, you walk these areas, you think about who was actually there before us. The history is just it's overwhelming. We live in a glorious nation. When we feel lost, these are the stories that lead us home, for us and for them. It's multi-generational. And that's what the Travis Manion Foundation does, not only telling the stories of those we've lost, making the ultimate sacrifice for the nation, but putting action in these stories. It's like writing a score and then hearing the symphony. The work actually brings the story to life. It becomes something you remember and act upon and carry with you. And the story, like a good melody, stays with you and it changes you. And it becomes something you truly never forget. You'll hear the story behind, if not me, then who tonight. And yet, even this past year, we've seen new ways we can apply it that we could not have expected, even for those closest to it. So thank you. Thank you for taking the time and the effort to be here. It's no easy task, and to allow our storylines to intersect during a very busy season of life and a very specific and important time in history. We're going to have a really good night. I'm really glad you're here.